Today I'm going to teach you all the tips and tricks for upgrading your loadout in Once Human because it is extremely detailed and intricate and very intimidating when you first come to the game as a noob like myself. But I've got some secrets to help to make it easier to switch and swap between your loadouts, because your gear set includes more than just what you wear. So without further ado, I'll be covering everything from how to get blueprints and fragments, how the systems work, and how to get the most out of your gear by matching the right pieces, attachments, and picking the right perks to get maximum output, and then upgrading in the multiple ways that you can upgrade in Once Human, because there are many, from upgrading your calibrations, calibration alterations, upgrades to your mods, and then maximizing with blueprint fragments to upgrade the blueprints themselves. In the first part of this video, I'm going to talk to you guys about how to get your gear and how to fill it out, and then in the next part, we're going to talk about what to upgrade and how to upgrade your gear. So let's talk about how loadouts work. Let's talk about how to get gear and what gear you want to be using, because you don't want to use pre-made gear. If you find something in the world, you don't really want to use it because it'll break and then you won't be able to repair it. So Once Human works on a blueprint system, which means you want to find blueprints for gear so you can make it yourself. There's two ways to find gear. You can find it in the mythic chests or you can get it from the wish machine. I'll go over both. Firstly, you'll be getting it from the mythic chests, found in all the towns with rift anchors. So the main quest will take you through these towns, and when you loot the mythic chest, you'll get blueprint fragments of a certain piece of gear. So I've got blueprint fragments of the Falcon set of gear because I have Huntsman fragments 45. So this means I can unlock these pants, or I can unlock these gloves. I can spend on these. This one here costs 15 fragments to unlock. So the fragments aren't for a specific piece. You can use the fragments on whatever piece of gear you want to apply them to. So over here and in the background, you'll see this set is called Beyonder. So you can see your fragment parts here. I've got this many Beyonder for the Frost Tactical, so I can only make one chest piece. And therefore you need to be really careful what pieces you choose to start with, because these blueprint fragments are also used to actually enhance the blueprints themselves. So you don't want to waste these on a piece of gear that you're not going to use down the track, because you can only loot these mythic chests once. So it means you only have one chance to use those fragments. The next way to get the fragments is from the wishing machine by doing some gambling or buying them from the blueprint shop using Starcrom. So when you're going through the first zones, the set you'll come across in the early areas is the Scout set. And if you click on these sets in the Blueprints tab, you can actually see where they come from. So the Frost Tactical set comes from the Red Sands Mystical Treasures. So if you guys want to know where to get the blueprint fragments for a certain chest that you want to get, hover over it and it'll tell you where to get it from. Now, I haven't moved into the Wish Machine gear yet, but there is Wish Machine gear, which is even better again. So if you go in here, you can get the blueprints for these other weapons, or you can get the blueprints for armor for the cost of Starcrom. And these are the end game sets, but basically when you're starting, you can ignore these, because some of the other sets, my Falcon set is pretty damn strong with the soccer. The only thing I bought from the Wish Machine here was the gun here. And this gun is actually really overpowered, so actually not a bad starter for 2000 Starcrom. So now we know how to get blueprints. Next up, we're going to talk about what blueprints you should go for. Pick the right set. Has the right blueprint set effect to match the weapon and the build you're going for. So as mentioned, each set has a certain set effect bonus when you have certain stacks. So 3-piece here, it increases the crit damage when my stamina is high. I'm using a power surge build. I want to emphasize my crit hits and status effects. So what I did was go to where the mythic chests were for these two sets, and I collected all the pieces. I went and cleared all these rift anchors, and this is where I got my pieces of Falcon set. Now the Falcon set is a really strong starter endgame set, because crit bonuses are great for many weapons. You don't necessarily want to build out of the whole set of one piece. You want to look at others and mix and match to get the best out of it, because output's probably the most important thing in my opinion. I've also got the Mayfly goggles, because these give me power surge trigger count increase, and these are called a key piece of armor. So not only is there blueprint sets with gear sets and bonuses, there's actually key armor pieces which work with certain perks on certain guns. So there's power surge, there's unstable bomber, you know, there's other perks in the game. There's Flame, and there's Fortress Warfare. You want to get the key armor piece that has the perk for whatever gun you're running. Bang for my buck until I go and spend at the wish machine, obviously. But I wanted to play around with some builds before I used my wish machine points and spent my Starcrom, because you can get some decent gear sets without spending on the machine. At the wish machine, I can instantly, if I want to, go buy the lone set. But I wanted to make this video accessible for you if you're learning the game, so the wish machine's probably more of an endgame build, although the set bonuses are probably some of the best you'll get, obviously. To get Starcrom for the wish machine, you get it from doing your weekly events and also from clearing and cleansing your Starcrom in your purifier, so it's not too hard to get. So make sure you look at what set effects you want and build off this, and don't waste your points on stuff you don't need. Next up, we have a hugely important part of your loadout, and that is your Cradle Perks. And I did not understand how important these were until I got down to the max level and saw some of these perks, which are crazy. So once you've got your gear set together, there's also Cradle Perks. More Cradle Perks unlock the further you progress through the game. These make a huge difference because the Cradle Perks are actually hugely important. These again work with the weapons you're using and the gear set and perks that you've chosen. So again, I've chosen Power Surge as my status effect. So what I want to do in my Cradle is make sure that's maximized, and I'm using a sniper and I'm using an assault rifle. So here we go. I've got the assault rifle increase plus 20% damage when holding SMGs, rifles or LMGs, and reload 10% of the magazine capacity from reserve upon defeating an enemy. I've got the sniper increase to damage. This Deviation Master is amazing because when you get your Deviant out, it gives you 50% damage against other Deviants. So these perks are crazy in the Cradle. And I've got one for healing here, and then these ones here like tactical combo, weapon damage plus 25% after switching weapons. After hitting a weak spot, status damage plus 25%, so this increases my Power Surge. And then first round blast after reloading, instant damage, Power Surge, and unstable bomber. So after I reload, it procs my Power Surge. And down here, we've got transient impact. After triggering a Power Surge plus 25% for 3 seconds. So you can see here, this is part of the whole set when you're getting your gear together. It's not just the gear on your player's inventory, it's also your Cradle Perks. And if you want to switch between sets, you can actually press H to save sets. So I have 2 builds here, and you can see there it even includes my Cradle loadouts down below, which is insane. So I can switch between my Power Surge and my Flame build. I'm actually trying to build a Flame build as well at the same time, just messing around with builds before I get meta and make my endgame gear. Cradle Perks, by the way, are unlocked by running silos and defeating the bosses. So some will be unlocked by running certain silos. So if you run Silo Theta, it's going to unlock another perk and another spot on your Cradle. So make sure you get onto this, it's huge. More on the basics. We've made our gear set, we've got our Cradle Perks. Now there's min, maxing, and other things you can add to your guns. But first we need to remember to also take our Deviant. We need a certain Deviant for our loadout as well. Another layer on top of this for your gear loadout is picking the right Deviant for what you're running. So for me, I'm using the Slime right now because he gives me heals and clears my infection. I have been using the Samurai because he is really good for PvP as well, and the Wolf is great for PvP as well. So it'll attack damage and increases weapon damage received by the attack target. So I was using the Wolf. I might actually do that again because the Wolf increases my output. Yeah, I'm going to use Wolf again actually. So again, you have to pick the right Deviant for your output and for your set as well. So again, I'm not going into the upgrades yet. These are just the basic levels of what you need in your loadout for once humans. So quick loadout checklist before we move on to our upgrades. You find your blueprints, pick the blueprints you want to target. Once you've got your gun, pick your gun. Again, they spawn in areas the same. You can hover over a blueprint and see where it spawns. So figure out which gun you want to target. Go find your blueprint. For instance, last night I went and found this flame flame assault rifle, and then I built my set around that. So I built a flame set. And then once you've got that, make sure your Cradle Perks are aligned with the build you're going for. Make sure your Deviant works with it. And once you've got these basics, we're ready to upgrade our loadout now. So we're going to start by looking at the levels of the workbenches, because this is the first thing you'll run into. I've got my crank AK. Once I've got this blueprint, when you're level 1 to 10, you're only going to be able to make tier 1. As you upgrade levels and progress, you can make the higher tiers. 10 to 20 is tier 2, 20 to 30 tier 3, 30 to 40 tier 4, 40 to 50 is tier 5. Now when you get to level 40, you're basically at the end game of Once Human, because you can make the end game gear and have all the unlocks that a level 50 can. So game works off your gear level. So obviously you need to build bigger benches, but this is the first thing you're going to want to make, is the highest tier weapon before you really start putting your money into your gear. So at tier 3, obviously the higher the tier, the better the base damage and stats of the weapon, or for instance the armor. And these unlock later in the seasons in Once Human. So the first part of the seasons we only have access to like those sort of tiers up to tier 3, I think it was. Later in the seasons these other tiers have unlocked so that players can get the higher power stuff going. You can now calibrate it, and what calibration does is actually gives you further stats and enhances your gun even more. So if you see on the guns, they've got calibration attributes. So if I show you guys my assault rifle here, it's got calibration attributes, and you can see that the bottom one is +10 and it's locked, which means I have to calibrate the gun more to unlock that attribute. So I calibrated this 7 times and unlocked the crit damage +10 calibration attribute. So calibration is huge. Not only does it unlock the extra calibration attributes on your gun, but it also increases the stats. So if we go back onto our bench here, we can see that for the cost of some more tungsten, platinum crystal and some stardust source, I can upgrade my damage to 337. And on my sniper here, I need to upgrade that to 7 so that I can unlock weak spot damage +6. And I need to actually change the calibration attribute on my sniper here, because you guys can see that the range +12 and accuracy +6 is not great. So the other thing you can do with calibrations is replace the calibration attribute. Now, this is the reason we keep weapons that we find that we can't repair in the world, because we can break them down to take their calibration attributes and put them onto another weapon. So, for instance, I can actually put this calibration attribute onto my other sniper. Portable style. So we're going to break this down, and it's going to give us the calibration blueprint. So we break that down, and now I've got this blueprint. I can go over here, and what I can actually do is calibrate this sniper and replace the calibration attribute with this for the cost of stardust source. And now what's going to happen is I get this portable style mobility calibration attribute, which again is not great, but it's better than the one I've currently got on it. And it means it kind of works well with the Fortress Warfare, where I have to aim down scope, so it means I'll be able to, move around a bit quicker. And not only that, but the weak spot damage is going to be higher too than the current calibration attribute. And then further weak spot damage increase down at the bottom instead of crit. So that's probably a really nice calibration attribute to actually put on here. So I'm going to put it on here. I'm going to go ahead and attach that. Again, this is for some science. Show you guys how it works. And now, when I calibrate and upgrade this to 7, it's going to unlock the next level of weak spot damage increase. But as you can see, it's getting even more increased damage. So that's how calibration works. That's the next part of upgrading. And you can also further, to make it even more complicated than before, you can actually upgrade the blueprints. So for this sniper rifle, the hammer build here, I've actually enhanced it further with other blueprint fragments. Now this is why I say when you're making the armor, for instance, so if you're making armor like the Falcon set, I might want to actually enhance my Falcon chest blueprint now that I know what my set's looking like. And so I'll go to here, and what I can do is actually use some of those extra fragments I've got to increase this and enhance the actual blueprint and give it another star. You can see here it's going to upgrade it and make it even better. So this is the tier preview. If you press T, and you can see what the stats do. So if I upgrade it to the next star, it's going to give me, you know, nearly 100 more HP, a bit more psi intensity, and so on and so forth. So this is why you don't want to get all your blueprint fragments and unlock them straight away too early. You want to hold on to them so that you can upgrade the specific pieces and ensure that they have extra buffs and take them to their, you know, the strongest they can be. Now, I could also upgrade this with other huntsman blueprint fragments. So if you have another set, for instance, of huntsman, is there another huntsman set here? So Falcon set, the Scout Hood BP is a huntsman set as well. So they're actually in categories. It's not the gear set itself that you use fragments from, it's the category. So it's operator, huntsman, juggernaut. They're classified into categories, the blueprint fragments. So you get the blueprint frags from the mythic crates, and again the wish machine, you can gamble in here to get extra blueprint fragments. So if you want to boost your weapons even further down the track and you've used all your mythic crates, that's how you can get your blueprints enhanced all the way. So there is so much detail and so much depth to the amount of ways you can upgrade your gear. It's kind of wild. So for instance, Mayfly goggles, I could actually use these blast suit frags to upgrade those to the next enhancement. And so if we look at this, that's going to be great. And so what I need to do now is go get the rest of the blast suit fragments. There's an operator tier, so I want to get all the operator stuff and leave it unlocked. If I was to go back in time, I wouldn't unlock these, so that therefore I could buff that blueprint, because I'm not going to use these in retrospect. You guys know what I'm saying? So I wish I'd saved those now, save those fragments from the Wanderer set, like the Raid Top, which is a PvE set, and I wish I was able to now put those into upgrading my Mayfly goggles. So I made the mistake, so you guys don't have to. Do not use BP fragments if you're not going to use the gear set they belong to. Be warned. You've enhanced your gear and calibrated it, you want to put some mods in your gear, and there is many layers to mod upgrades as well. So you can add mods. So mods are a huge thing again that work with what you're trying to achieve with your gear set. So for mine, I want to increase status damage output and crit rate. So on my headpiece here, I've got this, which gives me range is -25, fire rate +10 because the assault rifle is relatively slow, and status damage +16. So this means when my power surge procs, it's going to have increased damage. So you want to make sure you get the right ones on here. Oh, I actually got a new one up here too. And even further, you can see there's different attribute effects here. So on each piece of your gear, you want to go and make sure you've got the right mod in it, because these are huge. So I've got Thunderclap on this mask. So after triggering Power Surge 20 times, the next hit summons Celestial Thunder. And then, as mentioned, I've got on my gun, I've got Shockwave Rampage. So dealing Power Surge grants +4 Power Surge trigger chance. So all of these combine to make my build really OP and really high output. Crit rate on the gloves, Falcon shoes have crit rate. I've got a shit one on the chest because it's hard to get a good one, and crit rate on the legs. So you can see here, if you press C, you can see your details too. So my crit rate's 21%, my crit damage is 62%, and so this is pretty good. So you get the mods from running silos and loot crates. Buy them at certain vendors as well. Now you can further upgrade the mods on the weapon. So here on my assault rifle, you can see the boxes are ticked. I've got green, blue, and blue, but sometimes they won't be activated, and if you enhance, you can activate the extra perks. You can even enhance it further, even once you've got them all ticked, to increase the amount of damage and multipliers here. But again, damage against the lights plus 4.5. So there's a crazy amount of min-maxing to get the points to be able to do that. All you have to do is come across to here and break down some mods. So I've got a lot of mods here. I'm going to start breaking down some of these duplicates and these healing ones that I really don't want that much of. So if I click those, by the way, crazy mod here, head guard, it can save you. So your head's not a weak spot if someone's sniping, which is insane. So I can break these down, break down all the mods that I don't want to use because I've got a lot. I really actually need to do that soon. So break them down and you get weapon mod parts and armor mod parts, depending if it's a weapon or an armor mod, obviously. So that's how you get the things you're going to need to spend to upgrade your mods on your guns. So you want to make sure that you upgrade your mods and get obviously the higher tier mods. You can get these from the mushroom vendor. I just went and bought my flame build. I went and bought a new mod there. For instance, with this one here, the Deviations expert mod. First I'm going to check. I'm going to actually enhance this for a cost of 18 armor parts and 500 energy links. Hopefully I'll get the element damage increase because it's already ticked on here. So this is like a random roll, but I don't really care about the max HP. And so now I've got damage against normal enemies, which I don't really want. I want the element damage increase, so I'm going to do it again. So I can't confirm from my testing, but I think this is randomized as to what perk it actually selects for you. Let me know in the comments if this is incorrect, but that was my experience so far testing. Finally, we have accessory upgrades, and these actually alter the way your weapon handles for recoil and aim cone effect. Accessories are a game changer. Like, this is a huge part of making your gear the best it can be. So accessories are going to be huge for how your weapon functions, and these aren't level locked, so you can get them straight away. But with accessories, you can actually get huge buffs for your weapon. I press my muzzle here and I press I to expand. You guys can see my stats of my gun. I've got stability, which is recoil variation. So when I shoot, my gun's going to go up. If I get this up higher, it's not going to have as much recoil, obviously. Accuracy is fire cone, range, reload speed, mobility. So to make it even more complex, there's attachments you can find around the world that boost your weapon. So this large muzzle brake gives me range +4, accuracy +20, and stability -8. So I didn't want to use that because I want less recoil. So I went for the hammer compensator, accuracy +9 and stability +19. So again, you want to use the attachments that work best for your gun and make it really functional. I use the compact sight because it's given me stability, tactical because it's given me, again, stability and aiming speed and mobility. So make sure you get your attachments. And I've also got the magazine capacity extended mag on there. I might even change that to reload because I actually get boosts when I reload. I'm just realizing, so it's probably better for me to be reloading in a way and have faster reload speed. So again, I might play around with that, but this is not something to be missed. Accessories are a huge part of upgrading your gear set. And again, if you want to find where they are, it says on the part you want to find. So explore the riddle spot, lotus leaf. So you basically find riddles around the map, and these will be signs or cones and things like that. You step into them, solve the riddle, and then you'll get the attachment, and you can take these to the next season apparently, which is going to be OP. So this is a huge part not to miss on your weapons because it's going to give you a huge advantage and make it far more effective. In the link below is a website which will show you where to find all these attachments and mods as well to help you guys. So that's covered every way you can modify and upgrade your weapons and how to get your blueprints. So finally, I'm going to summarize with a checklist so you guys can go over it and make sure you guys haven't missed anything with your loadout builds. So firstly, save all your fragments on gear that you won't use from the start. Secondly, save all pre-made guns. Even though you can't repair them, you can break them down for calibration attributes. Next, pick your gun, and then pick a gear set that lines up to boost your gun's perks. Next, calibrate to maximize your calibration perks, and then modify your calibration attribute according to your build. Next, upgrade your gear set with other blueprint fragments, Next, make sure you've got mods in your guns, upgraded the mods with their perks, and then make sure you've got Cradle Perks to maximize your output, and then pick a Deviant that works with your set as well. And then once you've done all this, press H to save this gear set, because you can actually save these gear sets so that you can easily switch between them, and trust me, it's going to be great to switch between later down the track when you've got a boss build, a dungeon running build, and a PvP build, or a farm build. You're going to want to switch between these, so make sure you save it afterwards, because switching gear sets and then Cradle Perks is a pain in the ass. Also, don't forget food and buffs. This is another part, but this is a basic overview of everything, so I'll go into that in another video. But if you guys found this video helpful, make sure to smash a like on it and subscribe. This video took a long time to make, and as you could probably tell partway through, I got pretty burnt from all the information overload, but I've hopefully broken it down into digestible pieces for you guys. Let me know in the comments below if you guys have any questions or if I missed anything. You guys are legends. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. H.O.D out.